Hello and welcome to another edition of Pop and Scott Talk Baseball. How's everything going, Pop?
Well, it's a little better today. We had another semi-disaster yesterday with your stepmom having her blood pressure go up and had to take her to the emergency room. But we've had a rough 6 weeks around here with stuff happening health-wise and otherwise. So we're trying to get to the other end of this valley so we can get out of it. But each day is a little different. So anyway,
yeah,
I'm feeling better from my surgery and all that. I'm pretty much back to normal.
Good.
As normal as a 79-year-old guy can be.
Have you had any chance watching any of the spring training games yet?
Oh, I watched several spring training games when some of the oral games. I've only seen one national game. I see several on MLB. When they get down, I watch about half the game, and then when the 75s and the 80s and 98s come in the game, I mean, these guys are going to be in the minors, so there's not a whole lot to evaluate or see. I know I read a big article about, they were talking about some of the younger players up from the minors who have done well this spring. But then if you do a deep dive, they did well against the people of their own ilk. In other words, they weren't hitting the ball off of Garrett Cole.
Right.
They were hitting it off Nat King Cole. So there's a difference. I mean, and speaking of Cole, I watched a little bit of his last game. It was on MLB, and that guy looked in mid-season form. I mean, he was striking out everybody. But it's hard to evaluate the younger. And the other thing is too, when they do face an established pitcher, you don't know whether that established pitcher is working on new pitches, trying to hit new spots. They're doing all kinds. That's what spring training is all about. So it's very difficult.
They might only be throwing 85, 90%. They're not going 100. Right.
Well, they're trying to get these guys to just throttle back a little bit because of the injuries.
Right.
I mean, the Mets already had some injuries. The Yankees had two guys in their minor league system that they were thinking about bringing up that have to have Tommy John.
Yeah.
Better minor league pitchers.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to go through injuries or not because the injury.
I haven't gotten any written down.
Right.
But there's several injuries that have already cropped up, and some on pitchers. And so they did have a report the other day that spring training in the first couple of weeks of the season are terrible for injuries because everybody's trying to throw full blast right out of the box. And
Sean Manaea is going to be out. I don't think he'll be opening day ready.
Yeah. And I did see today where Stanton is not going to start the season on the Yankees. His elbows are still hurting.
Yeah. Little Acuna is going to be, I don't know what but he left yesterday. They took him out the game with the injury for the Mets.
And LeMahieu left the Yankees game with an injury. And the other day, Gunnar Henderson left the Oral game with a thing in his side.
Right. And you don't know if it's, how bad, because in spring training, any little thing, they're coming out. They're going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very difficult to evaluate in spring training because of all those different nuances. I mean, it's just like the combine in with the NFL. I mean, why? They don't play in shorts and a T-shirt. They play in uniforms. Why do you have an offensive tackle run a 40-yard dash when if he runs 10 yards, he's run a sprint? So it's all most of it is pointless. So I mean, it
makes a difference in the draft. You hear that?
I enjoy watching baseball, and I can see some of these younger guys. Some of the young national players are showing a lot of promise. They're not winning a lot of games because that's not important, but in spring training. But some of those young kids are showing a lot of. They're going to have a pretty exciting outfield. That outfield is going to be pretty exciting.
Right.
But I do have 11 rookies today that some of the scouts and that have said might be have outstanding seasons this year. That's what they're projecting. So I do have a list of 11 of them. I'll get to that in a little bit. One thing, the owner of the Cleveland Indians, Larry Dolan, was 96. He passed away earlier last Sunday, and he bought the Indians, the then Indians, in 2000. So his family has owned the Indians for 25 and the Guardians for 25 years. They've owned them longer than any other owners have owned the Cleveland Ball Club. The Mets, they lost Nick Madrigal. I
forgot about Nick Madrigal too. Yep.
Yeah, he broke his shoulder, I believe. I saw the play.
I thought he dislocated it.
Well, no, they said it was broken.
Oh, okay.
The next day, they said after the MRI, it was broken.
Okay.
Because
he came down.
The ground ball went up the middle, and the pitcher, it hit his glove and went under his glove. So he was playing shortstop, I think. Mm-hmm. He came in and scooped to throw to first and lost his balance. And when he hit the ground, bam, that's when it went.
Yeah. It's how most people dislocate their shoulders.
Right. Yeah. I was playing slow pitch softball, and center fielder Ray Mann dove and catch a ball and dislocated his shoulder. We popped it back in, and he went home. And the next week he was playing softball again.
If it was just that, he would have been out for a while. But that sucks because that was going to be. And then Acuna went out yesterday, so that's a couple of pieces to your plug and play kind of two guys that play multiple positions. Yeah,
and Sean Manaea, he has an oblique, and he probably won't start the season.
No, he won't start the season.
And I mean, it's it's terrible. And then Frankie, I think it's Frankie Montas. He has a muscle problem. So
right. So there's two pitchers. So now they're talking about, do they make a move to get a pitcher or blah, blah, blah.
Well, they signed, they did a minor league contract with pitcher Jose Urena, a minor league contract. He pitched with Texas last year.
My whole thing is there's one guy out there that's ready to play anytime you call him for whatever the veteran minimum is.
I couldn't agree better. I mean, it's just.
And I don't understand why nobody. I mean, I can understand you don't want the baggage with Trevor Bauers, but you get Trevor Bauers with the baggage. So
you tell him to leave the baggage aside and just bring his glove. I mean, that's just.
He's a Cy Young pitcher that still got stuff. So, and he's willing to take veteran minimum for 1 year. Yeah. I just, to me, it must be something there because for him not to have brought a suit against the league, there's
when there's smoke, there's got to be a little bit of fire.
Right. I've always said that. So I don't know what's going on there. So.
Well, the White Sox, I was watching this game too. They were playing the Angels, I believe. And Andrew Benintendi, guy who's hit with a pitch, broke his hand. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. The poor White Sox can't cut a break. The spring breakout with the minor leaguers this year is going to be on March 13th through the 16th. And I watched some of that last year, and that was let's see. This is something. I was watching a Texas game the other day, and Jake Berger, he's an infielder. He hit a home run. Well, what's the big deal?
Here in Winston-Salem.
Huh?
You played here in Winston-Salem.
But the big deal was his a few days earlier, his little daughter Penelope had open heart surgery. So they were talking about how.
Who was that with? Because he just signed with somebody different. Texas. There you go.
He's with Texas and
got some thumpers. Yeah.
Yeah. His little daughter had open heart surgery, and they were talking about it. So that's what it was significant. He hit the home run, and of course everybody in baseball that knows about it is supporting him. And now Major League Baseball, the contract with ESPN is not going to be renewed.
Right. Well, it's not good blood between them either.
Well, now Major League Baseball is negotiating with Amazon and Netflix and any of the other streamers to see if they can get a deal with one of the streaming outfits.
You're talking about baseball, Will.
Baseball. The MLB,
right.
They're negotiating with the streaming outfits to see if they can stream their games on Sunday night. I mean, That's that's fine. We talked about that last year. That's if none of the networks are going to pick you up, get what you can.
Let's talk about ESPN for a minute, because some people throw it on the baseball for not, but let's face it, ESPN did not. You could tell they did not want to be in there. They didn't care about. They done away with all their baseball programming. They showed
the only time they had baseball program was Sunday. They had the lead-in show, and then they had the baseball game.
And then Wednesday they had a game Monday, but it wasn't their only. That it wasn't the game of the week or whatever. And
the only game I knew about was Sunday night.
And they would have, I think, 2 more during the week, but it wasn't the like locked in, like that was the only game. But the only sport they really care about is basketball
and football, college football is college big football. On ESPN.
Yeah, football,
and they have an NFL game too. So anybody that's got the NFL is going to make money.
So and they're locked in with the NHL now. So, but they don't really do a lot with NHL other than having them on ESPN Plus. But it's ESPN, for all their issues. You would think cutting a deal with MLB and staying with them, because they like to throw money out the window at dumb stuff. So it doesn't make sense. But you got the MLB. Most people that have ESPN would have MLB Network because But
yeah, for me, I pay a gazillion dollars a month for my cable bill because for me to have all the networks I like to have, like at the ACC network, so I can watch Virginia sports and
right. Pretty soon it's going to be worthless to have a regular cable. You're going to have a Hulu with extra stuff if you want to watch sports. Or Hulu or one of those streaming Tubi, one of those streaming services that you can add on other things, because a regular cable you can still add on, but like you said, it
is exorbitant.
Yeah, I know how much you pay, and it's kind of sickening to me what you pay.
I mean, of course, and now our computer and everything, our internet and all that's tied to it too. So that's part of it. That's part of the bill.
Yeah, but I mean, I know. Yeah. I mean, but
it's still very high.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because they're going up on the internet your internet services, because they're losing so much cable services, people from cable that are just streaming. I just, and we're gonna, because this is about baseball. So when I went to Iowa and I went there and I didn't get cable, they were like, well, it's illegal. But I was like, I paid for streaming services for a while. So I don't have regular cable now. I have just streaming services. So that I watch on my TV. And that's just the future. We've talked about it last year ad nauseum, and it's going to come fast. We've been talking about it, but I have my MLB package. Can't watch teams. I'm blacked out for 4 teams that are 6 hours away from me to 8 hours away from me, and but at least I get to see a lot of baseball. My team's not blacked out unless it's playing one of those. Even though I would like to watch Orioles games a little bit more, I just can't. So, but anyway, back to your normal programming. What 11 players you got for us, Dad?
Well, I mean, it's I guess one day I'll have, an old guy like me, I'm lucky I know how to turn a TV on now. So, I mean, I guess I'll have to try it. I'll have to go to that streaming service eventually, but
well, as long as Masson keeps showing your games, you're good.
Yeah, I can see the Nationals in Washington and Baltimore all I want.
I don't have my local. I don't on my cable here. We do not have a local baseball team. So there's no like a nightly game you can watch.
Right. and I watch the Nationals every night. I watch every game. I watch a lot of the games and a lot of the Oriole games, except when they go out to the West Coast because they come on at 10 o'clock, and I go to bed about 10:45. So I see the first few innings, and then I go to bed.
Right.
Because I need my sleep. Well, the 11 rookies one is Jacob Wilson. He's a shortstop for the A's organization. Matt Sharo, who is an infielder with the Cubs. And here's a guy that's having some problems in so far is Jason Dominguez, outfielder for the Yankees. They put when the guy that got from the guy that got from the Cubs,
Bellinger.
Bellinger just hit a home run the other day. Put him in center field, and Dominguez always played center field. They put him in left, and he's lost. He's having a hard time with it. So they're not. I don't understand why they can't put him back in center and put Bellinger in left. I just don't.
Yeah, but the Yankees, Dominguez is good enough at the plate where they'll let him figure it out.
And yeah, I'm sure. But anyway,
if they got to put a map in his back pocket to get around,
he's having some problem. But the kid's got talent. You can see the talent.
Yeah, he's still only like 20, 21.
He can hit the ball a mile. And the other thing about the Yankees is they're going to allow some facial hair this year, as long as you don't look like the Duck Dynasty.
Right.
And that's a real change. But they were losing players. The reason they did it is players didn't want to play for them because they wanted to grow a beard and grow a mustache.
Right.
That's the thing nowadays.
Well, that's always been the thing. Reggie Jackson used to fight that. I mean, it's always been a thing.
Yeah, it's been like that for a long time. Kamar Rocker, right-handed pitcher for Texas. They expect big out of him. In fact, he may even be in their starting rotation.
Yeah, so he's had some arm issues. He went to Vanderbilt, won a national championship with Vanderbilt. He was the other guy with Leiter. Leiter, obviously.
Leiter. He and Leiter were the 1-2 combination, and they won the national championship.
And Mets drafted him. He had arm problem. And Mets saw something. He went back, and sure enough, he had arm problem. Didn't play his senior year. Got drafted by Texas, and now he's fine. He pitched some games late in the season last year. Looked good. So if he can look good for them, that'll be a big boost for the Rangers.
And here's the other one. This kid right here, Christian Campbell, an outfielder for the Red Sox. A lot of the scouts were just goo-gooing over him. They said he might be the number one prospect. Dylan Cruz of the Nats. Of course, he played last part of the season, the last month or so, but he didn't play enough games so he still qualifies as a rookie. And
he's ahead of Woods, for the Nationals.
Yeah, he plays. Woods plays left field. Cruz plays right.
Yeah,
field.
but Woods,
and the kid Young plays center field, and I mean, he's one of the top defensive center fielders in the game. If he can hit, but those three young men, if they come along and they show promise, that could be a powerful outfield for years to come. Jace Jung, third baseman for Detroit. Hae-Seong Kim, second baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Now that Jace Young guy, he's been in the minors for a little bit. They've been talking about him for a while. He's got some pop, so we'll see what happens.
Will Wagner, who is second baseman for the Jays, and Trey Sweeney, a shortstop for the Detroit Tigers, and Chase Meadroth, an infielder with the White Sox. Here's something. It was kind of funny the other day. Justin Turner signed with the Cubs, and the Cubs were playing on MLB, and they interviewed him between innings. And the guy asked him, he said, why we thought you might retire. How come? He said, I just don't feel like retiring. I just want to play.
Well, you have to remember when he was with the Mets all those years, Mets didn't know really how to use him. He ended up, when his contract was over with the Mets, he went home into California and decided he was done until one of his friends, the Dodgers, called him and said, hey, why don't you sign a 1 year with us? And we know how that turned out. And it worked. He tweaked his batting, and now he's one of the a prolific power hitter. So he's probably looks at that and looks how close he was from being out of baseball to being I don't want to say star, but a known talent, a JD Martinez type of player. So
yeah,
makes good money, and hey, I can make another year a salary and put it away.
Well, I mean, you can't blame him.
Yeah,
I can't blame him for making. I mean, the lowest guy on the bench makes a pretty good salary. So
he gets veteran money too. So you're talking about millions.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he's got a $2 or $3 million contract, I think, $4 million, something like that. But anyway, he's tickled to death to be with the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs have a good team, so he's on a good team this year. And if you get sent to the Red Sox or the Cubs, and you play in Fenway Park or Wrigley Field, there's got to be a special feeling when you walk in there. There's just got to be. We didn't get to go inside when your stepmother and I went on our trip in 2000. When was it? 15 up in a fall foliage trip. What it was up into New England to look at all the fall foliage in October. That was a birthday present that year. We were in Boston, and we went right by Fenway Park, but it wasn't open. We couldn't go in and walk around. It had been closed up, so we couldn't go in. I was hoping we could take a tour, but we couldn't get. But that was pretty cool. And it does, from the outside, it looks small. It doesn't look that big. Well, it's not a very big ballpark anyway. Right. Neither is Wrigley Field and Fenway. They've been
they're built up, not
they're built up, not out. Well, it's inner city. Like Ebbets Field was like that. It was up, not out. The only reason that the Polo Grounds was so big was because it was there before the city was.
Right.
That part of the city came in there around them, not the other way around. So that was already there. They just built the stands up and put the walls up. But the Polo Grounds have been there. They've been playing baseball on there since 1898. Right. So, but it's some of those old ballparks. I kind of wish I could have gotten around to see them. I won't do it now, but that's fine. I still see them on TV and that, and I've seen them when I was a kid. And the other night it was a Friday night. Ohtani was making his debut with the Dodgers. Then they were playing the Angels. So the Dodgers were the home team. So in the bottom of the first, Ohtani comes up there. The Angels are pitching this left-handed. He's an Asian kid. I didn't even catch his name. The first pitch he threw to Ohtani, it was a curveball, broke about 9 feet. And Ohtani swung at it and missed. I mean, it looked bad. He missed it by a mile. The second pitch was inside. The third pitch was a strike, called strike. So he's got 2 strikes on him. So he works the count full. The guy throws a pitch at that curveball again, and it's maybe, if it's on the outside edge of the plate, or maybe 6-8 inches outside, Ohtani hits it 380 feet into the left field bullpen for a home run. And of course, everybody in the crowd, it played in Camelback Park in some place in Arizona.
Right.
Everybody in the crowd was on their feet with their phones or cameras, taking pictures of him hitting.
Right.
Everybody. I'm not saying, I don't think anybody was sitting. He hit that home run. You would think it was the 7th game of the World Series. I know people driving by with their windows down wondering what happened because it was so loud. And then the announcer said that he did exactly the same thing last spring. His first at bat, he got a 3-2 pitch and hit a home run to left field. Did the exact same thing last spring. But it was kind of exciting to watch that.
That is, I hate he's our Mickey Mantle. I mean, he's our, I think 45, 50 years from now, they're going to be talking about Shohei Ohtani like they talk about Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth. And that.
Yeah, I mean, when he's fully healthy and pitching, I've never seen anything like him. Never. Mm-hmm. They can't compare him to Ruth because Ruth didn't pitch when he hit. He was a pitcher, and then he turned to a hitter. And that was, but Otani does both. And you and I saw that game where he came close to a no hitter and the hitting for the cycle.
Yeah, he must have about like 6 inches.
I mean, I've never seen anything like him. Big, strong, run, hit, power. He can pitch. He can steal bases. I mean, he's just amazing baseball player. And I thought it was kind of funny because they were, of all places, they were talking about him on ESPN on one of the morning shows. And the guy said, "Well, you know who he is, don't you?" And they said, "No." He said, "He's Major League Baseball's Caitlin Clark." I don't know
how baseball would continue on. I don't know if the WNBA could without her. That's the difference.
Well, anyway, yeah. If Otani wasn't there, the baseball would go on. But if Caitlin Clark wasn't in the WNBA, they'd still be playing in front of 12 people.
Right. Yeah.
And walking to the games instead of flying on a plane.
Yeah. Even though this next class or the next few classes coming out is already the
it's all, son. It's already a big deal. The draft, the WNBA draft is already going to be a big deal with Juju and somebody.
I've been watching. So how their training is different, and there's like this 5'7" girl that can tap in dunk. She can't go up and dunk, but if the ball's like bouncing off the rim, she can tap it in.
Yeah,
so that they're practicing like the guys. They're not, they're not practicing differently because they're female.
Well, see here again, when I was in high school, they played with the girls. The offensive team went up, and 3 girls went up and down the court because they were on offense, and the 2 defensive girls couldn't cross half court.
Right.
It was 3-on-3, and I mean, no, that's what it was. It was 2. The 2 defensive girls couldn't cross, and so how did they work that? Because two of the girls could not cross half court. I remember that.
So you would have 2 of your players. You always have 5, but you would only have 2. You would have 2 girls that stayed on offense and 2 girls that stayed on defense.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, now it's just like the men, and the only thing about the girls, some of them still have a problem making a layup because they can't.
Yeah, but you're seeing now they have form and technique. And man, I've been watching young, like high school girls that are just balling out. I know we're not talking about baseball, but y'all know how I get when like Caitlin and that stuff. But it's fun to watch because it's still a team sport. But anyway, back to baseball. Those names you said, there's going to be a few others. This year is going to be already a little down to the rookies. Last year wasn't the greatest of seasons for rookies. Take away Skeens, and it's kind of you wonder who won the Rookie of the Years. But it would have. I think this year. See, I think Woods is better than Cruz, but that's from the sample size I watched last year. Cruz is better in the field, but Woods to me is adequate and better at the bat. I have Woods.
He has more power.
I have Woods down as my National League Rookie of the Year, but and probably Dominguez is the American League Rookie of the Year. So, but I wouldn't listen to Scott and put money on it unless you feel that way. Then go right ahead. But yeah, that's my feelings on the rookies. So next week we have the breakout, and not too far after that we have the first games in Tokyo.
18th and 19th
of April, right?
March, this month. They play on the 18th and 19th. The regular season starts, I believe, on the 28th or the 27th.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Regular. Okay, yeah, the 18th. So yeah, got all that right around the corner. Look at some dates to look forward to. Hopefully, y'all's players, everybody's players, are staying healthy. That's mainly where any preseason sport, I think that's where my eyes go to first is who got hurt. Football's worse than baseball because they don't really need to play all the time. But in baseball, you got to get some rhythm. Yes, you got to get play rhythm in football, but baseball is body rhythm. You got to get your body memory back and all that stuff. But these guys don't take much time off, so they bounce back pretty quickly.
Well, they don't have to work another job like they used to.
Yeah, it's totally different now. But I'm excited baseball's here. Like I said, I've been watching. Nothing has really gotten me going, oh, I gotta watch this guy, that guy yet. Just more the injury reports as a Met fan is little concerning right now. So, and if you're a Yankee fan too, and I know the Braves are looking for players to get back from last year that I think are still not back yet. So
no, both Acuna and Strider are going to be out for at least probably 2 months.
Yeah, so struggles.
Well, I mean, you told me that his younger brother Acuna got dinged up a little bit in the other. Well, I mean, it's apparently injuries running the family,
right? Yeah.
Because Acuna's had 2 serious injuries for the Braves. Now he's gonna want a huge contract. Now I don't know if I was the Braves, I don't know if I'd give him a huge contract. The way he gets hurt.
Yeah, that would be scary. And the way the Braves work, they probably won't. And they'll find another talent somewhere else. And, I'm sure it's hard for them to see Freddie Freeman do Freddie Freeman things on the Dodgers, but they got a good one there at first base now. So it's not like.
Yeah, it's not like they got an empty closet.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll end it at that this week. Not too far away from the season started. Again, thanks to everybody who watched last week. All the views. Thanks again. And you got any Yogi-isms or anything this week?
Yeah. They lost a game when he was staying in his locker when the the press came into the locker room. And he told them, if you ask me a question that I don't know, I'm not going to answer. That he said the reason he did that was he wanted to nip it in the bud because they had lost the game and he knew they were going to ask him questions he didn't want to answer.
Right. Well, there you go. There it is for today. I hope everybody's having a great time. We're at that time of year where it doesn't know what it wants to be, warm or cold. So
yeah, it's 40 here.
Yeah, it's the same way here, and it was in the 60s yesterday. So we're having a good time with it. But anyway, till next time, like, share, tell a friend, and we will see ya.